and welcome to another episode of Level 3. That's good, thank you. Yeah, that's excellent. Thanks to whoever brought the boatload of Americans in. That's fantastic.
We didn't get a "you suck," which is kind of better than our main store appearances.
Wow, we're not inducted anymore. I'm Jamie. You're watching Level 3. I'm Jamie. I look mostly at the Sony side of things, Sony PlayStation, PSP, all of that good gear. I also like Mexican food. Irrelevant, but I'm just going to drop that one in there. But the show would be proportionately less eloquent if I wasn't joined each and every week by this gentleman beside me. He is in stature as large as Gulliver appeared in his travels to the people that he met, and he no longer needs the Argonauts to help him find the Golden Fleece. He enjoys golden delights on a daily basis. He also likes to spend his evenings reading War and Peace, but he is only halfway through it. The war bit. It's Jason. Yeah. It's a pump up. It's a pump up for you. It's good.
It spews forth.
But this is our appearance here at the Clayton Library. Woo-woo! Yeah! Library fans are here in the house.
Library fans, yeah. We have to read books. Woo!
And yeah, we're having a great time here tonight, and you missed it. So hopefully we come to a library near you. We're gonna start our talk here, so you guys are going to check out a review. It takes a lot of things to be a ninja. It takes stealth, power, speed. You have to be in peak physical condition, as I obviously am. And above all, you have to be mysterious. Actually, if you're mysterious, you can probably just fake the other stuff and you'll be fine. Anyway, it takes a lot of training. And some good training to be a ninja would be to play Ninja Gaiden 2 on your very own console at home. Or maybe someone else's console, if you could sneak into their house and play it without them knowing. Ninja tip. Alright, this game is the product of a marriage between Team Ninja and Tecmo. But like many marriages, it's broken up and gone a little bit sour. Now the head of Team Ninja is actually suing Tecmo for some unpaid bonus payments he says that he was owed for Dead or Alive 4. But look, that's enough of the days of our lives type gossip. Let's get on talking about the game. Ninja Gaiden 2 is the long-awaited game in this series. Now, previous games have actually frustrated gamers by being incredibly difficult. They've gone some way to solving it in this incarnation by putting more save points, and the save points are actually in very sensible positions. Thumbs up for that one. You play hero Ryu. Now, actually, is Ryu just like John over in Asia? I don't know. If there's anyone named Ryu, do send me an email, jamie@level3.org.au. Maybe it's like John and every second person is named. I don't know. That's beside the point. The point is, a busty young lass dressed in black leather is chained up and taken away. Isn't that always the way? And you, Ryu, take it upon yourself to rescue her. The first thing that you'll notice about this game is the amount of blood. There is massive bucket loads of blood all through the game. You'll sever limbs off. You will cut people's heads off, and you may even stub your toe if you're not really careful. But the environments are actually quite boring, but you won't notice it because you'll be too busy running around, hacking and slashing your way through thousands of enemies. Although sometimes you will die as a result of bad camera work, and that's just plain annoying. Good thing the same rule doesn't apply to level 3, or I would have been dead in episode 1. The array of enemies are quite interesting, the animations run smoothly, and the kills are very, very satisfying. I'm scoring the visuals on this one at a 7 out of 10. Whilst the majority of the voice acting is good, whoever did the casting for the little old Asian man really needs to take a good hard look at themselves and maybe listen to some old Karate Kid, maybe watch Big Trouble in Little China, and perhaps even listen to the old man out of Gremlins. I know I'm going back a little bit there and showing my age, but that's fine. I'm not trying to perpetuate racial stereotypes here, but a little old Asian man in a mysterious junkie shop does sound a certain way, and he should have been cast accordingly. Aside from that, though, no complaints about the voice acting. The footsteps on the different surfaces sound very, very good, although the music is very nondescript. But for me, the absolute highlight of the sound is the juicy sound effects when you slash someone's arm off and you hear it hit the ground, and then, like a good ninja, before you put your sword away, you clean it. You shake the blood off and you hear blood and guts splatter onto the ground, and then you put your sword away. Very satisfying sound. Even so, the sound on this one's getting a 6 out of 10. Now about the gameplay. At first, you could be forgiven for thinking that this game is a button masher. At first, that's what you'll feel like you're doing, but as you do more combat in there, you'll start to work out how the combat system works, and you'll learn there are finer points to it. Sometimes you will lose yourself amongst enemies because you're dressed in black lycra sort of stuff, and so are a lot of the enemies. So often you'll be like trying to look for yourself, but a quick jump attack or a dodge out of the way will soon reveal where you are. The weapon upgrades look awesome, and the special power attacks are massive. They look really, really nice. The gameplay on this one is scoring a 7.5 out of 10. So we're left mathematically with an average of 6.83 recurring for this game. But as for the bad things in the game, look, there's some glitches that enemies get caught on. Sometimes there's blood splatter on invisible walls, and the voice casting of that old Asian man. There's a lot of blood and gore and just juicy carnage all the way through it. And best of all, the dead bodies of your slain enemies don't disappear. Top work. Absolutely fantastic work. So I'm swinging this game up to a 7 out of 10. Now, a real ninja would only kill those that are necessary. In this game, it's necessary to kill everyone. And some words of wisdom there. For anyone who missed the start of the show, what were you doing for a start? And secondly, here we are at the Clayton Library. We've just finished our talk.
We've just finished our presentation. You missed it, too bad, so sad. Thanks for Mikey Marks for showing up, Nicole, and a couple of other forum regulars and stuff for showing up. So
yeah, Tim Allen Queen.
Yes. So yeah, no, it's I mean, we talked a lot of crap. You know, even the drunken editor got in. That was an interesting one.
Sorry for everyone who saw that.
Yes. No juice box on that occasion. So you can actually understand what he was saying.
He's drinking out of a bottle. He's been paid this week. It's good news for everyone.
So,
but it's great. A lot of discussion there, and we may be coming to a library near you. We are looking at doing more libraries, and if we're not coming to one near you, ask them. Say, we want the guys from Level 3.
Yeah,
make it happen.
Exactly.
Hassle them.
Exactly.
Firebomb them if you need to.
What is it? IRA library tour or something? Firebomb them if you need to.
All right, let's go to a break before someone gets in trouble.
For firebombing? No, who would have thought?
And you're back on Level 3. I'm Jamie. He's Jason. This is the Clayton Library.
It is, and it's it's been interesting as well. I mean, we've had a fairly busy week. We've just done our presentation. Microsoft has had a massive leak from their marketing company. Did you hear about this?
This is gold. Yeah. They're just going to rip everyone off.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. They're going to have an avatar system which is similar to Me's. I mean, you can say it's a rip off, but at least it's more than like 3 options for faces and stuff like that. Because that's always the crap thing about Me's.
It's more than 3 options.
There was about 6. You've also got Lips, which is their SingStar, but you can use your own tracks. So it's effectively a karaoke machine, which is a very good idea. If that comes, keep in mind this is a marketing report, so this may or may not come to fruition.
Yeah, I mean the latest SingStar on the PS3, so they want to copy some quality. Yeah,
And
sure.
then actually give a feature that, you know, customers are going to use, like using your own songs, whereas SingStar you have to buy them for, you know, a premium on the internet.
A premium. You download them and you're paying for the original artist tracks.
One thing I was interested in was a game show channel where you can log on and they'll ask you game show type questions and you can answer. Which I mean, that's fantastic.
The thing that I want to know is, are they going to have crazy Japanese game show channel?
That would be awesome, you know. Yeah,
That would be great.
The whole point of it is to keep the hot dog from falling out of the cup on your head or something. It's like, oh, Katarina!
You can get all your friends around, have one cup, and have a great night.
As long as you got 2 girls, you should be good.
Yeah. we should probably move on.
You've really outdone yourself this episode, haven't you?
I don't know.
You're just making it class. We've got fire bombing and, you know, fecal porn. It's just fantastic. Let's go to something else. Get it? It's a grid. I'm actually here to review Race Driver Grid on the next gen consoles, or the current gen consoles, whatever you want to call it. And Race Driver Grid's an interesting proposition. Now, with the success of Colin McRae Dirt, well, God rest his soul, Codemasters decided, you know what, we weren't making enough money off the V8 Supercar series. It was always the ugly sister at the ball, you know. It might not have been as pretty as its competition, it might not have sounded as good, had plenty of bang for its buck though. And it was really one of those sim games that kind of got left by the wayside, and so they kind of left the simulation idea behind and thought, let's make Grid, a game that focuses on the race, and that's their actual slogan for the game. And it's a very interesting kind of mix. It's not quite arcade, but it's not quite simulation. Let me explain. You start off in the game, and you start off just driving races in different parts of the world, much like you did in V8 Supercars. The problem with this one is you don't actually have control over how your car handles. So you pick the race, you drive in the race, that's the end of that. You earn respect for finishing in first or completing the objective, but you don't actually like tune your car, compete in full-out championships, anything like that. It's really an arcade approach to sim racing, and that sounds kind of strange, but I don't know how else to describe this one. You can't call it a simulation because it lacks the depth of a Forza I hate myself for saying this, or a Gran Turismo, 4 or 5. But at the same time, it's not arcadey in the same stretch as like Need for Speed. You know, you're not running away from fully sick, tuners and escaping the cops or anything like that. So it really falls into a very hard category to class. That doesn't mean it's not fun. This game is actually quite a bit of fun. The handling might not be fantastic. I won't say not fantastic. It may not be realistic. It still feels a bit slidey. It feels a bit dirtish, like it feels like you're traveling on a bit of gravel. That said, though, the AI is aggressive and punchy. They're real nasty, and they're really good at understanding lines without being stupid. While they'll pick you up on any mistakes you make, they're not going to just like wipe you out for no apparent reason. So I really appreciate the work that's gone into the AI, and the crashes in this one look absolutely fantastic. Not as over the top as say Burnout, but they do look a bit better physically than Forza. However, they don't have the same effect on your car that crashes in Forza have. And the other thing that this game does is the flashback mode. Now, if you make a big mistake, you stuff up a corner, you have a massive smash, you can choose to enter replay mode and use what they call a flashback. Exactly like that. So what it means is that you can reposition yourself for a corner to give yourself a better line through it, restart the race, do whatever you have to, without having to go back and restart. And that removes some of the sim element from it straight away. And I mean, many times it's been in Forza and Gran Turismo, going back and just restarting the race over and over again. This kind of eliminates that. It kind of makes it a bit arcadey in the process, and you can shut it off, especially in multiplayer. It's not an option in multiplayer, to give it that little bit of more of a pro edge, but it's still, I don't know, it's very arcadey feel to this sim game. Now, I'll get down to some scores. The graphics on this are absolutely fantastic. Probably as good as Forza, in the same kind of league. I don't know if they're the best that the system can handle just yet, but they do look fantastic. So the graphics are going to get an 8.5 out of 10. Now the sound is great. Punchy engine sounds. The soundtrack, while not licensed, is still good. Like it really fits the mood of what you're actually doing. The only thing that gets to you is a radio announcer, because there's only so many times in here, you're only 2 laps behind Adrian Cook. It's just, and while it's not quite as bad as that, they have changed it to an American voice subtly, I might add. And yeah, it just, I don't know, it just grates on you after a couple of laps, especially if you've got like a 5-lap race or whatever the case may be. So the sound, I give a 7 out of 10. Now the gameplay, as I say, if you're a sim fan deep down, this is not your game. You are looking for a completely different game. If you're an arcade fan, once again, it's probably just a bit too technical for the arcade racers out there. If you're looking for a bit of a happy mixture, the game that Pro Street could have been, this is probably the game for you. Pick it up. There's a lot of fun to be had with it. Maybe a bit shallow when it comes to how many races you've got and selection of cars and stuff like that. With 45 cars, I think is the actual limit. So it's not exactly setting a new standard with the amount of cars you can pick, but realistically, there's certainly worse driving games out there that you can find. So I'm going to give the gameplay on this one a 7.5 out of 10 now. It's going to bring us to about an 8 to 7.5, and I'm going to drag it down to 7.5. Codemasters with V8 Supercar Series had a fantastic simulation game. The whole taking care of the team that you're racing with, your car, making sure it's tuned up and stuff like that. That's the kind of stuff that I love. So as I say, on a personal level, I give this game a 7.5. Though if you're just a racing fan, especially like Project Gotham, stuff like that, you could certainly do a lot worse out there than Race Driver Grid. I wonder what's next. Race Driver Pie Chart. That'd be a good one. It'd be just go around in circles. Oh wait, that's NASCAR.
Wow, okay, Grid couldn't obviously stand up to Forza.
No, it wasn't.
And nothing in your mind can stand up to Forza.
Forza 3 maybe, which is actually one of those things confirmed in the leak. Forza 3 confirmed, 400 cars, 100 tracks, 2 discs.
Oh, back to the old multi-disc system. Wow. I remember my friend got the first Street Fighter 2 on Amiga, and it was like 8 discs. You had to put in the right discs depending on which character you were using and which level. Good times. Let's go to a break.
What the hell was that?
Okay, we're about to go into another movie tie-in game, and this year's actually been a pretty bad year for movie tie-ins.
Is there ever really a good year?
Not just this year. We've had a rough trot, haven't we? Yeah. I mean, the official Spider-Man game last year.
Yeah, Spider-Man 3
was just terrible. Yeah. The Iron Man game, I mean, that was terrible. And the Transformers game, I hate that game so much.
For how good the movie was as well.
Horrible.
I mean, especially Iron Man, that was just such a travesty of just. I mean, I'd like to see it get Smart Game. That'd be pretty funny, I reckon.
There's a movie tie-in you could do. I'd play a game with Steve Carell in it. I definitely would.
Even Almighty.
He'd give
the point of the game is to shoot yourself in the head because the movie's so damn boring. But yeah.
What about they could make a Sex and the City game. That'd have to be.
What's about three hookers and their mum or something?
It's just sitting around drinking, what is it, Cosmos? I don't know. It was just an idea.
I think I'm going to catch the AIDS just from being near you. I'm going to move slightly to the side.
Not that I've seen it. Only our producer's seen that film. He was sitting down watching it with his good friend Rove.
Ah, of course.
Yeah.
We'll go to your review, Incredible Hulk. Contentious point. Yeah. We'll continue it afterwards where it's contentious game, this one.
You won't like me when I'm angry. Hello and welcome to Jamie's cooking show. I'm just going to show you a little recipe here that has recently come out. Take one of Marvel superheroes' finest creations. The Incredible Hulk. That's what we're looking at. Then add a dash of know-how from a company like Sega, who have been making games for a long time. And lastly, add some Havoc physics in there. Always a good dash of that. Actually, yeah, can never have too much Havoc physics in a game. Once you put all that together, you've got the Incredible Hulk, the official video game, and that's the game that I'm looking at today. All right, so you won't need to have studied film or literature at uni to understand the storyline of this one. You're the Incredible Hulk. Everyone pretty much knows the story of him. Bad scientists are experimenting to recreate you. The army is trying to recapture you, and you are smashing things. At first glance, you might think that the action on the screen's a little bit small, but once you start playing further into the game, you'll really appreciate that wide perspective so that you can see more of the damage and mayhem that you're causing. The city in it really does look like a live functioning city. Cars will screech to a halt at your feet. You can create your own weapons out of the vehicles. People will flee. The boss fights are on a massive scale, and they look very, very good too. Look, sure, some of the damage physics are a little bit off. Sometimes you'll destroy something just by jumping past it, but there is so much more good than bad in the visuals on this one. Visuals are scoring a 7.75 out of 10. There is a lot of sound running concurrently in this game. There's explosions, enemies barking orders at each other, cars screeching to a halt, pedestrians caught in the crossfire, and all this meshes together to create a really rich soundscape. And it doesn't sort of bang together to create noise. It actually sounds really, really good. The only facet I was missing in the sound of this game was a pumping music track to really get me engrossed in the mayhem there. So the sound on this one's getting 7 out of 10. Much like the editor, I have fond memories of playing Rampage until the early hours of the morning. And this game almost took me back there. It's fun, albeit mindless, repetitive, button mashing fun, just destroying everything in your sight. This game was really designed for young boys to be playing it. So the gameplay is very fun, but it is mindless and it's not going to last you a long time. I'd be surprised if you weren't bored of it after a couple of sessions. Gameplay on this one is scoring a 6.5 out of 10. There is fun to be had there. So if you do have fond memories of Rampage or even Hulk Ultimate Destruction for that matter, you're going to have some fun with this game. Overall, I'm scoring it at about a 7 out of 10. What do you think, Hulk? Game on! We say that at the end of the show. Not now. That's pretty good. Jason, you got to try this. After I did this review, I had the whole crew picking up tripods, throwing cameras at me, and trying to electrocute me with the lighting.
And you deserved every single one. How could you give this the same score as Ninja Gaiden? How can you honestly say that this is a game that is on quality with Ninja Gaiden? And how can you say it's even on quality with Hulk Ultimate Destruction? Because
okay, great. I'll tell you what, this game captured that Ninja Gaiden didn't capture for me. And that was the fun element.
You had free roaming, didn't you?
This was a fun game. Of course, there's a lot of free roaming in it, but it was a fun game.
It wasn't fun.
How can you say it's not fun? You're running around the city, smashing up everything in your sight. You don't have to do the missions if you don't feel like it.
But you're fighting you're fighting these bosses. You're fighting these cars, right? These cars can, if you get hit, right? Now let's say I just pushed you in the chest. Your rage wouldn't go down. You'd get more angry. Correct?
Yeah, I'd assume you would get more angry.
Yes, but obviously not the Hulk. You know, he gets hit. He thinks that's actually quite soothing. Please,
look,
can you hear me some more?
It doesn't make sense to start with. The
it calms me. It centers me.
And
if
he's
I
going
get hit,
and helping people.
And that's exactly.
I'm saying the thing doesn't make sense. I'm saying that, but as a gameplay experience, it is a fun experience. If you want to run around a city and smash everything that you see and throw cars and people around,
pick up War of the Monsters. Much better game. On the PS2.
And for me, this had the nostalgic kind of value. I played more of the Monsters in the arcades. Absolutely loved it. I played Rampage on the Commodore 64. So good. And this brought back those memories and brought back that fun that I think has been lacking in so many games recently.
Yeah, well, I don't know how you could find it fun, personally. I honestly don't know how you could rate it on the same level as Ninja Gaiden. And consider it more fun than Ninja Gaiden.
It was more fun than Ninja Gaiden. It wasn't technically as good. It certainly wasn't. And for an older audience, Ninja Gaiden would be the game to go for. But for a younger audience,
but you're not a younger
Hulk
audience.
is so much fun.
You're 35. You're not a younger audience. We're not asking
35?
Jamie.
I'm nowhere near 35.
We're not asking Jamie the 4-year-old. We're asking Jamie the 35-year-old. If you keep it up, I'll say 40. Right? That's not who we're asking. So
excuse the 12-year-old kid I've got with me. But the Hulk, this is a fun game, and it is for a younger audience. And if you just want to smash up a city, try it out. A rental, not a buy. That's it.
Pick up Ninja Gaiden. Ending the show.
If you're an older person, do get that.
Ending the show.
Let's get out of here.
Forums, IRC chat. We can't really pimp the Monash talk anymore because it doesn't exist.
Hassle over libraries that do get us down there for a talk and just to muck around and run amok.
And
good times. And from the Clayton Library, until next week, guys, Please continue to game on.